Okay, lads, let's get it started here. Let me know if the music is too loud or if I need to turn my mic up or anything like that. I will get periodically louder as the stream goes on. I always do as I get into it. Basically, I start screaming into the mic. But welcome everybody. Thanks for stopping in. Bunch of new people, appreciate it. Magus fapping confirmed. Confirmed. Sending my good energy. Alright, alright. Anyone else turned on by these charts? Yeah, 100% me. That's why they look like this. So Maggie's first time catching up your stream, your EU Twitter thread brought me here. Thank you, my friend. Hope you learned something. What size is your monitor? Oh yeah, you could tell it's large, eh? 38 inch? I don't remember, either 32 or 38. You gotta go large on the main monitor. It's been written. You can go much smaller on the side monitors and stuff, especially if they're verticals. But you gotta go big on the main one. I hated trying to jam a bunch of stuff into one screen and then you can't even read anything. Your monitor size isn't size. Yeah, I don't have like a big like 49er. I don't really want one that's that big though. It takes up too much of your desk space. "14-inch gang." Yeah, the real alpha is if you can afford it, get a bigger monitor. Don't be fucking around with any like 22, 24s or anything like that. You need an extra 10 inches on that. It actually makes a world of difference. And with a monitor like this, it's big enough to where I could split it into two. Up or down, don't worry, my friend. We'll run it. We're just catching up. I haven't done a stream in a while. I think it's been either a week or 2 weeks. The last one was with Jim though, so whenever that was. Can you explain what we see here? I'll do that in the questions section. I'll do a rundown on the market here in just a moment, and then we can do questions and stuff. Smaller, better for gaming? Yeah, that is confirmed, but that's why I have a completely separate setup that I play games on. Sadly, it doesn't get turned on as much and used as much as I'd like, but yeah, I have a nerd monitor over here. I think it's a 24-inch 240 hertz, so it's a beast. But I run it on a different computer. Yeah, you gotta have a section for Pornhub. Just a little sliver of the screen, that's all you need. Sub to CME data? No. I don't think that that's necessary. You don't even need a sub necessarily. Well, I take that back actually. I used to trade the MES and I did not have a subscription because I had a data package through Sierra that was not the standard CME one. So yeah, you really only need one of those data packages if that's the main market you're trading. Can't overtrade if you're watching Pornhub. Can't argue with that. Hey, Cryptoski. Peter. Chalky. Oh, I haven't seen Chalky in a while. Alright guys, let's get into it. Alright, so here's the current range we're looking with. How honest do I want to be? Yeah, so I took I made my first big trading mistake that I've made in a little while. Just full disclosure, this whole like run up caught me off guard. Originally wanted to short up into here, as your just classic range short. Obviously that was too common of a plan because we blew out all the shorters. I didn't really like lose anything on that or anything. I don't really care. Pretty sure I made it out with small profit on that short, but yeah. So after the short got invalidated, I kind of was thinking, we're doing the classic, break out of the range retest, and we're gonna long it. So I longed yesterday, and luckily I was super active at the computer and was able to cut it before it got too bad. But real quick, let's see, zoom in real quick. You can't even see it on like the 15. Yeah, so I guess we could pull up the agar. Spot sold really, really hard through here, most notably on Binance and FTX, if I remember correct. Where the fuck was that selling at? From 21.6 to 21.2. Right here? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Nance sold really hard, and so did FTX. And basically, that was as soon as I saw the spot sellers hitting really hard into the range high, I knew I was wrong immediately. So we just went ahead and cut it. And you win some, you lose some. I've been winning a lot lately, so it only makes sense that I'm gonna take an L eventually. But zooming back out and getting back into the outlook, it's just really easy. As soon the rough thing with trading is that the moment you get caught and you're on the wrong side of momentum, it becomes really difficult to catch up and get in like ahead of the curve again. So when you're ahead of the curve, you're kind of chilling and you're just doing your own thing. But the moment you get behind and you're playing catch up, the advice, like I've been thinking about this a lot because I fucked this up pretty badly. You just gotta like almost block out whatever's happening and just like ignore it all and look for like the setups that are going to come beyond that. So what I'm getting at is rather than seeing my short get invalidated and looking to be a breakout longer, I should have just fucking said scratch all this shit. I'm just going to intraday trade is what I should have done, but hindsight's 2020. So anyways, I'll digress from that. But basically, we'll get into the actual outlook now, I guess. With this break, though, that we were just talking about, where spot sold really hard, we're now trading below quarterly VWAP and stuff like that. Like, this is not a good look, right? Not a good look at all for bulls. It seems very certain we're obviously going to trade back down to the current range lows. And it is very possible that this could be the break time. Because with the failed breakout now, two scenarios that play out are either we come and sweep this and we give it another leg up, which, I don't really want to bet on personally. But the alternative is that it actually breaks this time. So I don't really want us to go lower, regardless of what type of bias or positioning I have. I don't think any of you guys really realize that you don't actually want this market to break down. It doesn't matter if you're a bear. You might make money off of the short when it goes down, but what's going to happen after it goes down is that you're not going to have a market that you can trade. It's going to be less and less tradable every time we go lower. Every time we go lower, there's going to be less participants, there's going to be less volume, and there's going to be less liquidity. And those are not the things that we want if we are to be trading this market actively. So unfortunately, I think that is probably what's going to happen, but I'm not actually super excited about that because the intraday environment's been really great right now. And if we break this range and form a range lower, it's only going to get harder to trade. So if you're struggling right now, us going lower is going to make it harder for you. So just be aware of that. That's how liquidity works. Yeah, I see Schiller coming in here. 45K fake out all over again. 0 is the outcome. All right. It's obviously a fake Schiller. Yeah, so acceptance rate into the range, we're obviously going to go back to the lows. On lower time frame, I'm going to be trading super bearishly. I'm not even going to really try to be doing anything with higher time frame directional trading. I'm just going to be scalping because in the middle here, classic don't middle and diddle in the middle. Yeah, I really have to sort this guy out right now? Fake like your Val rank? Buddy. I have 6 games played this season. I placed plat 3. You're mad. Yeah, it's obviously the real CBS because he's being a little prick in my chat. All right, staying focused. Intraday, I'm trading bearishly. The only time I'm going to be looking for potentially directional trading is if we trade into these lows and we get a bullish setup down here. Ideally, that's going to look like your classic sweep of this guy, these guys, and ideally these guys. I've been waiting for this to get swept for, how long has this been? Forever. A whole month. I guess it hasn't been that long. It feels like it's been forever. So if we take these guys out and we get bought back up into this distribution, that is going to be your trigger for your long setup, especially if you get supportive order flow and divergence for something like this. But honestly, not going to be super keen to be rushing into this, to be frank. Would you ever do live scalping? Not really interested, my friend. I do it in the Paragon. People don't realize how much extra stress and how much extra effort it requires to do things like that in front of people. You want, like, I'm just gonna sit here and explain what I'm thinking and doing. It's actually, yeah, even just doing it in the Paragon where I'm doing screenshots and stuff, it's actually incredibly stressful. These are all VWAPs. I don't use EMAs. Upload your VODs, please. Yeah, I'm going to start uploading VODs onto YouTube. Yeah, so higher time frame outlook, there ultimately isn't really too much to go over, right? Like I said, we're probably going to trade down into these lows, potential long trigger down here. If we are to get maybe tomorrow, maybe we get a rally tomorrow off of perceived dovishness. And that could potentially give us a good short trigger. So we could push back up towards 21.6-ish. And that this could present a decent short trigger up here. So those are, yeah, pretty much your classic. We don't open directional trades where everybody else is transacting volume. If I want to take a directional trade, it's going to be a short up in here or a long down in here. No directional trading in here. The only thing we do in here is scalp. We see a rotation, we scalp it. We see a rotation, we scalp it. That's all we do in the middle, in my opinion. If you're trying to punt directional trades in here, the hardest thing about it is you might actually be right, but what's going to happen is the price is going to do this in the meantime. Are you going to hold your position through all that for it to do your directional break like you think? Or is it better to just be super active intraday, in and out, in and out, in and out in here, taking advantage of that chop, and then waiting for the mean reversion plays? That's what you want to do, in my opinion. I'll digress from that. There really, unfortunately, isn't too much to go over on high time frame. We can go to lower time frame too. Should probably get a TPO in here. I can go over my trading view setup later. I know that I've already gotten only 3 questions about that. Can you give us any examples for triggers for intraday? Okay, I don't want to like ramble too long about it, but like first and foremost, you always have to determine if you're trading reversion or you're trading momentum. If you don't know how to answer that, then you shouldn't be trading at all. You need to figure out if you should be trading with, like if price is moving in a direction, do I want to hop on board and keep riding it that direction, or do I want to fade it and take it back to the mean? That's your first determination. And from there, you can easily decide what you want to do, right? So classic reversion trading is finding extremes where you push outside of value, where you see people doing stupid things on perpetuals and you mean revert them back. That's the core of my trading. That's 80% of my trading right there, plus maybe more, maybe closer to 90%. For momentum trading, VWAPs are really great for that. I'll digress because I'm not going to sit here and spout out all my trading logic and systems and stuff. How do you spot rotation while scalping? Go to low time frame and take your measuring tool and measure the average up and down with your measuring tool, and then it'll give you a rough outline. That's definitely not the way to do it properly. The proper way to do it is to do it with a trend type candle or a Renko type candle, have an indicator over it that counts how many blocks you're getting printed. The average up and down is your rotations, but you can do it sloppily with just your eyeballs and a ruler tool. I don't think that people actually properly know what I mean when I say rotations, right? The average up and down move, right? When you zoom out and you see these big up and down moves, this is not what I'm talking about. Within here, look how many back and forths there are within here. This is the hourly chart. You go to a 5 minute and you see that how many back and forths there are within this. These are your rotations: up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that's what I'm trading when I'm trading most of the time. What signals are you looking for when scalping rotations inside value or closer to POC? Definitely the opposite of what you just said. You want to be entering outside of value and away from the POC. The point of control is the point where the majority of the volume for that day or that time period has been transacted. Do you want to be entering where the majority of people are entering positions? No. You want to be entering into lower volume regions to have less previous activity. For scalping, I don't really use time frames. My trading view chart that I scalp off of is a 1 minute right here. But I use tick charts to actually execute on and trend reversal for print. If you're not going to show a video, dude, like, do I just fucking ban you, honestly? Like, you know how many of my streams I've gone through and, like, I explain? I'm not going to sit here and say that you need to do 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. I'm not going to do that for you. The people that show up to my stream somewhat consistently know I give a lot of very useful information that you could be putting together yourself to stream. Or to trade, excuse me. Like, I don't even know how to respond to somebody that says some shit like that. You obviously are new. Been following me for about 3 days if you're going to say something like that to me. I actually have basically given away everything that I do for trading over the course of the past few years, but the thing is that I just don't ever connect the dots for you. You need to do that yourself, guys. My mentor never connected the dots for me. He gave me some of the pieces of the puzzle. I found the rest of the pieces and I slapped everything together through lots and lots of time and hard work. If somebody gives you something, you don't value it. That was one of the biggest things I've been learning more recently. If I give people things, nobody values anything. You only value something if you had to do something for it. I'm going to digress. I switched trading styles and my strike rate went through the roof. Interesting. Yeah, we were talking about this in the Paragon yesterday. You can be pretty profitable with a low strike rate if you have, high risk to reward on your setups, but I was making a pretty serious point yesterday about how the psychology of feeling like you're winning consistently, how that affects you. It's not always about what your P&L is. At the end of the day, if you're trading 8-hour trade, setups and you have a 25% win rate, you're still going to be making money, but you're going to feel like you lose all the time because you are losing all the time. I'd much rather go for lower risk to reward and higher probability of winning because of how it affects me psychologically. It helps me push forward and, be hungry to keep trading and stuff when I feel like I'm doing well. The volume is the Paragon indicator that Charlie made. Chat is pretty toxic, but this is how things go. We're getting more followers, and we're at the point where we're in the cycle where people realize how bad they fucked up. They realize that people like me dumped on their forehead, and I've been sitting comfy for 7-8 months now. while certain people that don't have experience have watched their net worth go from respectable to non-existent. So the pain is setting in, so they cope by coming in my chat. Yes, I use footprint for scalping. It's one of the core tools I use, especially right now. Just checking chat, guys. Don't sweat it for Matic. I'm probably being more toxic, honestly, than I need to be. Excited about layer 1s? Definitely not. There is like some sort of like scaling solution thing that the Wolf was shilling yesterday that I'm paying attention to as a potential pump and dump short term. But yeah, realistically, guys, I don't really think that you want to be too worried about things like alternative layer 1s and stuff right now. You need to wait until the greed spigot gets turned back on, and then you want to go after those things. There's no, like, the greed is just like, look at what happens. Like yesterday with that rally that we got like a nice rally like 2 hours before the daily open, and then we just instantly reverted it all and then closed like below, at the low of the day. That initial buying, that was like a really good potential long setup, and like if this was 10 months ago, that would 1,000,000% would have been something I would have just instantly aped full size into. Wouldn't even care about my entry, and that trade would have worked out. But right now, there's just no greed from other people. There's no aggressive bid, so there's just no point in worrying about all those things right now. That's why I mostly just trade Bitcoin. Your core focus should be learning how to trade effectively right now, building out your systems and stuff, and not losing any of the money that you hopefully made during the bull run. Thanks, John. You don't need to worry about arguing with people, though. If people come in here, they probably already and they want to troll. It's probably not because it's either A, they're down bad, or B, they already have predetermined, bias of me, and they're just coming and expressing it. Because just so you know, people on Twitter are real finicky with one another. It's like high school with all these groups of people that don't like each other. Very childish. What's the most valuable lesson you learned in trading? How important is risk management to you? I mean, like, there you go. You already know the answer, right? And risk management's the most important thing. The little tidbit that I'll give you guys, right? There's like 3 pillars of like what it takes to be an effective trader. You need to first and foremost is going to be the risk definition, because it doesn't matter how smart you are and shit, right? If you don't know how to make sure that like risk is structured favorably for you on your setups, you're not going to do too well. So risk, edge, and psychology. Those are the 3 things that you need to get down right. Without risk management, you're not going to make it. Without some sort of edge, your win rate's going to be quite low, and you're probably not going to do that well. Even if you manage your risk effectively. And then psychology, right? You got to be able to handle both the risk side and the edge side of it, being right and wrong. Really diving into your own psychology is a must. For checking vol, I don't really pay attention to like options or anything. I mostly just pay attention to like value area ranges and stuff like that in the ATR. So I just use pretty simple technicals for estimating vol. Resources for trend reversal. I know that what's ATAS. It's a trading software. I don't really like it. I think it's gotten better over the years, but when I used it in the past, it was pretty trash. But I'm pretty sure ATAS has a good article on trim reversal. Chat's the new sentiment meter, yeah. Confirmed. You notice how Bybit has less reliable fade recently? Not really. I'm not really a fan of just watching one print anyways, though. I watch multiple prints. But yeah, I still trade off Bybit. The trick is there's 2 Bybit contracts. You gotta pay attention to which one you're you're looking at actually. Which indicator is the colors? It's the extreme volume indicator that Charlie made for the Paragon. Anything new in crypto that interests you right now? It's an interesting question. Not really, man. Not gonna lie to you guys. I don't really care about like innovations and things like that. Whenever, like I said, whenever everybody forgets about everything and the greed spigot eventually gets turned back on, I'll chase things. I mean, I did it this last cycle, but the key for me is to just never really drink the Kool-Aid. I drank the Kool-Aid a little bit on DeFi too hard, which was rough for me. Like I was up gargantuan, and I still did all right with it, but I gave back a lot of unrealized profits from the DeFi winter cycle. And basically, if I had just had the everything's a scam mindset, I'm just here to make money, I probably would have done better with DeFi. And I did better with like metaverse and stuff afterwards because I had that pretty savage mindset of I'm here just jump on other people and make money. But yeah, unfortunately, my friend, I don't really have anything cool with crypto to share with you. What do you think is a good level to de-risk missed? Oh, it's a really tough one, my friend, because you just gotta be quick. For future reference, I would just recommend you just be quick, because worst case scenario, you get an impulse, right? For like this instance, right, you get an impulse into the range where you don't want to be trading. I instantly cut it. Worst case scenario, you cut it and it mean reverts, and you just wasted the money from here, and it gets back in here, and you just long it again up here and say fuck it if that's what happens. But it's a lot better to be that guy that just like wastes this money and then gets back in, rather than being the guy that gets trapped. Because at this point, now you're praying, do we either A, come in, you're praying that we come and retest this void now so that you can get out. Roughly right where I got out, more or less. You're in a bad situation now because sure, we absolutely could come up here, but we don't have to. We could just keep going lower. So unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for you because you acted a little too slowly on it. My recommendation would be, if you're in that type of situation, would be either open up a hedge to de-risk it a little bit. So try to go a little bit more delta neutral by opening a position to offset your delta, or just take the L, honestly. Like, is it going to make a big difference for you if we go up 600 points for you to close it out? Right? If we go up like 2-3%, is that going to make a big difference for you, or should you just take the L soon, right? Personally, I would just be looking to take the L. But I don't hold on to my shit and cope about it for a long time. I just get over it really quickly. Honestly, I kind of knew that my long setup was bad too. I think the main reason why I was even in that position was because I had missed some of the momentum trades prior to it. I'm not really watching ETH, Clayfish. I said in the Paragon the other day, I'm pretty sure you saw, that I needed to start watching it because I could have played this range breakout differently if I was watching ETH more. But I'm not really interested in trading ETH. It's more so that I just need to pay attention to it. But I got a little complacent with not watching ETH. It's just how it goes. Okay, got a question. Do composites make a difference on time frames? Do you use one? No, because there should be no difference in composites for time frames, because you're, regardless of what time frame you're looking at, you're still looking at the same set of data, right? When the range started at A and the range ended at B, that's your composite. So it's not going to have a difference if there's any time frames. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Appreciate the support and positivity. Do you trade BTC ETH only? Yeah, so like my recommendation would be you want to learn how to read order flow and trade flow off of something that's your index. So Bitcoin for us, or maybe ETH, but probably Bitcoin. And then once you get a decent grasp of those concepts, you want to go and trade alts. Alts are definitely where the money's to be made, unless you're trading decent size on Bitcoin. I'm just like really comfortable trading Bitcoin because I've been trading it predominantly for many years now. I'll go down the risk totem pole when the greed spigot's turned on, and I'll punt on all the stupid stuff with everybody else. But yeah, if you're trading alts right now, just like go and look at whatever's like top 10 volume um, on Binance and FTX, and just sort through those and then scalp those if that's what you want to do. That's a pretty decent strat. You will 100% have a better, you'll be more successful trading alts than you will trading Bitcoin. But I always urge people to learn on Bitcoin. Has one find edge? What does it mean to actually have an edge? It's a pretty good question, honestly. What it means to have an edge is it means that you actually have the ability to find areas where the probabilities are actually skewed in your favor, right? Most of the time, right, if you're just like, I'm going to long, I'm going to short off of this chart, right? You just like say, I want it long, I want it short or whatever. It's a coin flip, right? But you can do things like saying, I'm trading into the macro range low, right? I have this level of confluence. I have this piece of confluence. I have 6 different things that are all telling me that this is why I want to take this long here. So I'm going to take it. That's kind of what edge is, right? There's a clear distinction, in my humble opinion, between edge and alpha. Alpha gets tossed around a lot, and very, very few people actually have alpha, and alpha goes away very quickly. Edge is something where it's more discretionary, in my opinion, and it's just like, I don't want to like give away everything, but like I said, right, there might be edge as we trade into this range low down here, because you're getting into what's perceived as inexpensive relative to the range. So if we sweep these guys and get bought back into it, I see some divergence, I see some supportive order flow, I see a couple other things that are in my system, and then boom, now I know that the probabilities are in my favor and I want to take the trade. So that's how I would define edge. It's stacking things in your favor to increase probabilities. What's the best material to learn on order flow and market profile? I mean, like, I don't know how to answer that other than to say, like, there's people on Twitter. I mean, I put out a lot of stuff, and if you want to learn faster, join the Paragon, because I will teach you much faster than if you want to learn it yourself. You can learn everything all by yourself like I did, and that's going to take you a couple of years probably, but if you if you want to learn faster, you can join the Paragon, and you will be expedited in your learning curve by quite a bit. There's some BTC hourly AO. Ignoring these today. Let's look. You're talking about this? Yeah, so it doesn't matter to me. This is a classic lesson, guys. The div in the middle of nowhere means nothing, right? We're effectively right around mid-range. It's useless for me, right? And so this same div, right, was forming right here. This was my long. Oh, I'm not interested in this. This is locationally. It doesn't matter that you get your momentum lost. This is going to keep going. So it's about location, like real estate. Have you ever lost it all when trading? No, I've never lost it all, but I've definitely sustained massive L's. I don't really want to go down that route again. Done it in previous streams. I've definitely sustained pretty big L's, though. I won't LARP. It's part of the curve. You lose big, right? And that definitely will always affect you more seriously than winning big. And if you're smart, those are the moments in life that make you change. The example I always give is late 2018. I got absolutely destroyed when Bitcoin broke 6K and went to 3K, and that was the turning point for me in my trading career, where I said no more punting, no more being a stupid guy because I lost a person's salary in 6 hours. I feel like every time I develop a system, it stops working by the time I gather enough data to use it. You're probably going about it the wrong way then. Again, I'll kick the dead horse that's been dead for a long time. You really got to properly define, you got to have a really well defined system where you actually know if you're playing momentum or reversion, and then actually making setups that work for those environments, right? Like, I basically have used the same reversion setup for years now, but you make slight changes to it as the market evolves. So it's just like a video game, right? We'll give the meta analogy. When the video game developers come out and make a substantial change to characters, right? They buff this character, they nerf that character, they change this map, all of a sudden, boom, it's a completely different game, even though it's the same video game, right? It's different now. It's the same thing with trading. There's different regime changes, there's different periods that we go through, there's different people in control for certain times, right? You have to adapt, right? You got to see what's happening and apply your system to it. So you basically just make like slight changes to how you do things and try to apply your pre-existing framework to it. I've been able to more or less, yeah. For momentum, I've had to change my systems quite a lot, but for reversion, I've basically done the same stuff. Went from 60K to 100K. Should I quit? It's not all it like in trading. There's the two ways that you like. Nobody wins in trading. You only lose in trading, and you lose by either giving up or running out of resources. So in this instance, you probably ran out of resources. Doesn't mean you need to give up though. You could go and find a way to start a stack up again, and next time don't let yourself sustain drawdown like that. Have I had, in terms of percentage, I've not really experienced that type of L before, I don't think, but you certainly can bounce back from that. A lot of that has to do with your age, and so if you're younger, and then like what type of responsibilities you have in your life, right? Do you have a wife and kids? If so, trading's probably not the play for you anymore, unfortunately. If you're young, you don't have to take care of anybody, then you could probably go out there and start sending it again. Well, it's super difficult. It's a case by case. It's all personal. Favorite anchored VWAPs daily. I don't really use anchored all that much. I like it in theory, but I really don't use them too much. I just use the classic period VWAPs: daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. I don't think it makes sense to go beyond yearly with crypto because we don't have that much history. Way to trade without hard stops and still manage risk accordingly. Probably scaling out. Yeah, correct. I teach in Paragon. You need to run completely different types of risk management, whether it's reversion or momentum. But we'll do the reversion, right? So for reversion, I don't recommend anybody. Placing hard stops close, right? So how I teach it with reversion is I do put hard stops on a lot of the time, but they're extremely far from price. And if my hard stop is 5% from price, theoretically, I have mental stops that are like 1 or 2%, and I'm reading the flow right. And the moment things start to look not that great, either lower time frame structure, unsupportive order flow, etc., we start scaling out. And we take our L and we minimize our losses like that by a lot. Makes a very, very big difference for us, actually. Your curve at the end. And so to elaborate on that just a tiny bit more, right? So what unsupportive flow would be, right? Imagine you are looking to get a fade here. So I want to short, right? We're clearly losing momentum as we push into a good area that makes sense to fade. I'm going to short this. You start seeing longs opening. What do you think about longs opening into your short area? That's good, right? That's what we want to see, because those are the people we're going to squeeze. But what happens when you see large shorts opening right after that? Your long's open, you get confident, you start opening your position. Now all of a sudden on some ape exchange like Bybit, right, you see people are just hammering shorts. Oh god, dude, this guy just opened like 10 mil. Oh, 15 now. He's at 15 mil on his short now in the past 10 minutes. Do we think this is going to go down? No. You see that guy aping, you're out of there. So I'm going to digress. Use Ichibot or other command. Use terminal and Quant Tower mostly. It doesn't matter what platform you use. I strongly recommend people don't execute on exchange interfaces though. You always want to use a tool to trade. Actually, that there is edge in that 100%. API execution on most exchanges has priority, and you're gonna have just a better interface to trade from and likely more trading options and stuff. So always use an API or some sort of trading interface. Will you gain any edge in Paragon? I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke up your ass. A lot of it has to do with you. I definitely will teach you how I do things. But at the end of the day, one of the hardest things for people to realize is that I could tell you exactly how to do things, but what people don't realize is that it's still fucking hard work. So if you're down to work hard, then the answer is yes. I'll tell you how I have lower time frame and higher time frame edges. Most of my edges are for lower time frame because in my opinion it's easier to create and to keep in tune and stuff. But yeah, if you're down to be the type of person that actually will work hard and actually trade, because that's the other thing people don't realize, right? Like somebody could be good at trading, but you still have to make yourself sit down and trade for 9 hours, right? You still have to make yourself sit there and click buttons. I'm gonna digress. Yeah, good Saren has good stuff. Location, indeed, Kryptoski. Do you think they're near bottom? Nope. It doesn't matter. We don't care about things like that. Whenever the bottom comes, guys, it'll take so long that it's not like you're gonna miss it. You will not miss the bottom. You know what you will miss is your shorts, because right, like the short opportunities come and go. The long opportunity, whenever it is here, it's not like we're not gonna V bottom, guys. That happened once. And it's incredibly unlikely that it happens, right? The only reason why that V happened is because of how irrational everything was and because you had this massive influx of liquidity getting injected into equities, which trickled over to crypto, right? When all of a sudden the monetary supply like goes up 40% in a year or whatever, that's why crypto V bottomed in combination with how aggressive the selling was along the way down. We're not going to see something like that this time around. We're not gonna get we should not get supportive monetary policy anytime soon. We need people to forget, and then we'll run it back again in like a year or two when people have forgotten that we did it in 2020. Any trades? I'll be probably doing some scalping later. After I'm done with the stream, and I got to do a phone call first, and after that, I'll probably sit down and scalp. But for actual directional trading, I already told you. I mean, you wanna short up here, long down here. You don't want to take directional trades in the middle over here. You're gonna deal with this. Meanwhile, I'm longing and short. I'm doing this the whole time, and you're sitting there going, I wonder if my long is gonna play out. I wonder if I should close it. It goes up. Oh, hell yeah, my longs... Price is going up. My long's fucking awesome. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, no, maybe I should close it. Okay, my long's really good. Yeah, yay, woo. Oh, no, my long's not good anymore. Don't be that guy. View up standard deviations. Yeah, that's what this is. Big fan of view up standard deviations at least. Video games gives up patch notes. Yeah, that's a good point. It's loose. You gotta the patch notes in the market and stuff. You gotta determine yourself. That's actually an interesting point. They do tell you. That doesn't mean though, right? So like example when like a big change comes in League or in Valorant or anything like that, just because they tell you the patch notes doesn't mean that you know how the meta is gonna change. So just to play devil's advocate with you, Sleuths. you still have to figure out how the meta is going to change. And more often than not, like for me, there's nothing. You don't need to be the 5-dimensional chess guy that like I'm gonna fucking put these parameters in my brain and pretend I'm a quant and spit out a fucking answer about what's gonna happen with the meta. Just fucking chill and let other people figure it out for you, and just don't be an idiot and just jump on it once it's obvious. I do that with video games. I'm never the guy that like figures out immediately how the way to play the game is right now. I watch other people do it and then I just emulate them, and I do well in video games with that type of mindset. And it's the same exact thing with trading. I'm never gonna be fucking rank 1 in the game that I play, but I'll be in the top percentile. It's the same exact thing with trading. That's why that analogy's so spicy. Paragon, we cover literally everything, so it doesn't matter. Generally, I would recommend that it is going to be more for people that have some trading experience, but we cover it all. We just have like we're super diverse and stuff with what we offer. Hi, Magus. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, Nick. You guys are going hard in the chat. I didn't even like say anything about the chart today. You guys are just asking questions. How far into the stream are we? 50 minutes. All right, we'll probably wrap it up here in like 10 or something like that. Good questions though today, guys. How do you handle the correlation with the NQ? Yeah, so that's definitely, this is exactly what we were just talking about with the meta changing, right? This is exactly a perfect lesson. So unfortunately, this is going to be a hindsight version of it, but you know, that's just how it goes because that's the example we have. So the game changed over the past 8 months or so. When liquidity started to get tightened, that affected every market because everybody that has worth, right? If you have worth, you had to get liquid because otherwise your money just disappeared over the past 7 months if you never got liquid. So it's been a fight for who could get liquid, and that has a huge hand in what's happening with the correlations. So the game changed. So it's no longer sit down and what is Bitcoin gonna do? Okay, and then now I'm gonna trade my altcoin off what Bitcoin's gonna do. It's not. That's not how the game is played anymore. Now the game is played as in I look at Bitcoin and I think, okay, this is what Bitcoin looks like it wants to do. These are my couple of plays that I might be running. Now I'm going to go look at the NAS and the ES, and I'm going to say, do the NAS and the ES have the same picture? If I think Bitcoin's going to go up and then it's going to go down, do I think that the NAS and the ES are going to go up and they're going to go down? It's like, I tweeted about this the other day. Or maybe I actually said this in the stream. I don't remember. Being a Bitcoin trader is like 100% being a cuck right now. Like, you literally have to go and ask permission from the NAS and the ES if your trade setup will work. It's a huge part of why I'm not really super keen on directional trading right now. It's just getting harder and harder. So, that's the beauty of being a scalper, and I was just talking about this in the group. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't have to care about what the FOMC news is tomorrow if I'm scalping. I don't care. If anything, the FOMC news is just going to give me good environment to trade in because we're likely going to have whiplash after the talk comes, and then the books will be thinned out, and you'll get movement. So liquidity will be a problem in that scenario, but you'll get high vol as a response. So anyways, TLDR is the correlation definitely is there to cuck you. You need to respect these world indexes right now because they have a big big play in how our assets move. So respect them. Maybe read flow over there too. I used to trade the MES, so their flow. I mean, it's been 2.5 years or whatever since I traded there, maybe less than that. But from what I remember, their flow was way easier to read than crypto. Most notably, guys, because crypto, right? Where are we watching flow from right now? We have like 4 different spot exchanges and 3 different perps that we gotta watch. And you gotta make decisions off all those venues right now. And realistically, with what OKX did yesterday, I gotta fucking add in another spot exchange now because OKX fucking went hard in the paint yesterday. Don't worry, Reg Hunter. You can just watch the VOD, my friend. The VOD stays up for 2 months. Use any third-party trading journal? Not really, but I used to. I've used a bunch of them. Most of the ones that are popular nowadays, I don't use anymore. I probably would recommend the one that Cosmo is making. I forget what it's called right now. Hold on. Let me scroll up in my DM and find the name of his thing. I'm blinking on it. Trade Stream. I probably would check that out. I'll just go ahead and plug him because he's a friend. For, yeah, I don't actually know though, because I used Edgewonk for a long time. I always traded, I executed through Sierra and just exported my data to Edgewonk every day. They didn't really have the API ones like they have now, so maybe the Coin Market Man or something like that. I've never used it, I don't know. I'm a genuine learner who wants to join the Paragon. How do I go about it? Well, thank you, Spirit. You beat me to it. Yeah, just sign up there, and we are doing invites in just a couple of days. A few days, not a couple, to be more precise. We do invites on the 1st, which we are going to, hopefully very soon, not have the monthly dynamic anymore. Hopefully it'll just be come and join whenever you want, but we got to get sorted for that. We're not ready. But thank you, Spirit. Oh, thank you, Martingale. For any devs, Paragon has some solid coders. Yeah, I mean, that was never our intention at all, but that is definitely coming along where we have like every type of skill set now, which is pretty cool. I mean, the indicators, they're not proprietary in that like there's anything crazy about them. Some of them actually, I take that back. A lot of the indicators that Charlie's made, I don't really share. So the ones that I share could probably be reverse engineered to some extent, but yeah, I don't share any of them, and the main reason is because he spends a lot of time working on them. I'm not gonna just go and share his hard work. Ultimately, that's his decision if he wants to do that. Yeah, I use ExoCharts. I do all my footprinting on Exo right now. I used to use Sierra for a really long time, but I stopped using Sierra mostly just because of the limited data feeds and stuff. And I'm pretty sure they have FTX now, but yeah, I mean, I trade at Bybit a lot of the time right now, so I really wanted to see Bybit flow. What about all the people who say OKX is only wash trading? Is it cope? I mean, that is why like I don't really pay that much attention to them, because a lot of the time you just see them doing stupid shit that has no effect on the market. But what they did yesterday 100% had a huge effect on the market. They sold really hard up here, and they sold really hard on the break. So like OKX, and like we're not talking about, I'll point this out too, that I wasn't even paying attention to this because I don't pay attention to OKX flow. A couple members in the group pointed it out to me, and I realized I do need to respect this exchange a little bit more, because they were dumping, you know, literally 10 mil clips and shit. Like they actually moved a lot of spot yesterday, and they were right, because their lowest sells were probably at like 21.4. Most of their sells were in the you know, before the selling really picked up and broke through the range. On the API topics you messed with, yeah, I said terminal. I use terminal. I don't really like doing high frequency on terminal. I use the terminal app is what I use for my swing trade account, and then I use Quant Tower for high speed. So all these insane sells. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Yep, 20 mil. Yeah, some of his clips were over 10 mil at a time. So he started up here, and then he really picked it up as we were starting to break back into the range. The dude went hard, whoever he was. And whoever they were in the know. They're going to look like geniuses when we're trading at 19 in 2 days. Could you scalp using only rotation charts, or do you need candle charts too? Well, I didn't even show a rotation chart, by the way, just to make that point. I've only showed you time-based ones today. You can do it using time-based, but 100% the non-time-based ones are cleaner by a lot, because if you're like using Renko, for example, or range, it's only gonna print a new block if price pushes X amount. So because of that, a lot of the little quick back and forths that you see on low time frame, that data doesn't exist on the alternative candle types. So I strongly recommend that people at least experiment with alternative candle types, because you don't need to actually trade off of it, but it'll do is it will help you visualize what rotations are like, and it'll help you understand things a lot more. I really like trading off of non-time based candles too. Like, no bullshit. But things like TradingView don't have those options. So you need to use time based. But for real, time based is trash, because simple argument is the time based indicator is gonna have a new piece of information being fed to it every X amount of time. You're on the 5 minute. Every 5 minutes, it's going to get a new piece of information fed to the oscillators or to your moving averages or whatever. The market might not have any new information coming in. If it's based off of something like selling or buying, or how far price moves or anything like that, then you actually have a change in the market coming in and being recorded, as opposed to just 5 minutes went by and we're at the same price. So time-based is trash. How many of your 12 indicators on the chart are you constantly using? Most of them are turned on right now. VWAPs. Actually, is this even the main chart I look at? This isn't even the main chart. There you go. Most of them are turned on right now. VWAPs. I have different VWAPs turned on. Volume profiles. I don't even think that the oscillators don't even get counted on this, huh? Most of those are turned on right now, though. I use rotation charts. I mean, do you personally look at candle charts when scalping? Yes, I do. I personally look at this chart a lot when I'm scalping. The 1 minute chart with a couple indicators on it. Yeah, just because I like non-time based doesn't mean I don't. Most of my charts still are time based because I use TradingView a lot. Yeah, Cryptoski, I'm not about to use TradingView Renko or anything like that though. It's ass. As somebody that used Sierra for a long time, I refuse to use Renko on anything other than Sierra or something that actually has proper Renko. Renko should have no element of time being included into its calc, and TradingView uses time, so I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Basically, you can use it, don't get me wrong, and it's probably a good place to learn, but I wouldn't trade off of it personally. What's your favorite setup? Reversion. I don't like being a breakout trader. I tried to be a breakout trader yesterday. Per my it fell right in line with my stats of being an L. I'm not a good breakout trader. I'm really good at trading reversion, so that's it. You push up into extreme of value or into the low of value, and you fade it back, and you do that all the time, and you don't care about what the news says or what your uncle told you about how he saw some people hedging the VIX yesterday and blah blah blah. You don't care about any of that shit. You just say, oh, this guy fucked up, this guy just opened up a long into the extreme of the day, run him back. 200 points. Easy. With non-time based charts, do volume composites stay the same? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Composites should be based off of time mostly, not actually based off of volume. So it won't affect it. You should be drawing composites from TPO charts anyways, not based off of your line chart, your candlestick, or whatever. What's the candle coloring? It's volume. So it's seeing where we have two different colors for high and low buying and high and low selling, and it's like a footprint basically. You do that in combination with the actual volume oscillator at the bottom, and you can see where your high volume is. You can see that somebody tried to ape a breakdown and force a breakdown right here on Coinbase and failed and got reverted back up to the value area high. The candle overlay is basically footprint, but the idiot version of it. It's very useful for just quick glances and stuff. Yeah, you heard right though. Renko on TV is ass confirmed. Can 100% attest to that as somebody who is a heavy Renko trader for a very long time. I basically had to give up Renko when I got off of Sierra. It's just how it is. And knowing that they adjust often. Correct. That is the worst part about TradingView Renko, is that it will repaint. If you look at a structure today and come back and look at it tomorrow, it will look different. I'm trolling about the VIX, man. That's not my fucking area of expertise. I think that most people that talk about complicated order flow shit are probably fucking memes most of the time. The order flow I talk about is like simple. This guy fucked up into the high of the day. This guy fucked up into the low of the day. I can make strong arguments to back what I do, and that's not the case with most of the complicated order flow stuff you see on Twitter, where people make threads and whatnot. They cannot defend themselves. PS2? Is it the PS2? No, it's not. It's close, though. It's a big thing for me, though, expanding upon that. I realized, right, that, like, people go on social media and make whatever type it takes about flow they want, because nobody's going to call them out for the most part, because very few people have a grasp of the topics enough to call them out. So most people run around completely unchecked. They go out and say something, people smile and wave and like their shit, and then they get reinforcement that they were right, and they keep doing it, and that's the cycle. When in reality, you're entering like this multi-dimensional chess, and like Dan from CMS said, and like the only thing I ever heard from him that I really liked was, once you get into second and third and fourth order logic, your likelihood of being wrong is increased. So you want to stay in the first and second order logic, because you can be right there. You scalp in all market conditions. So I mostly like to scalp when we're more range bound, because like I was saying earlier, right, I'm primarily a reversion trader. I don't really want to be trying to scalp too much when the market's trending. When the market's trending, I want to be riding that via swings. So, I mean, I do everything. I do everything from scalping to intraday trading to swing trading to synthetic pairs, and I do all the stuff more or less. As you go down further onto that spectrum, and especially getting into vol and stuff, it's more. I do it more for fun than anything. I'm not really profiting from my vol trading. I'm not very good at it. But do you scalp in all conditions? Not really. I will word it like this. I have the luxury of picking and choosing when I trade. I'm not going to sit here and trade 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Not going to do it to myself anymore. I've already gone through that stage in my life. It's not good for you. The only pro that you get from that is that you will learn fast. But it's very bad for your brain and your body and stuff. So I'm much more of the mindset when things are good, I want to trade 3-4 times a week, right? And trade somewhat aggressively, but don't want to I don't want to force myself to trade every day. It's not good for you. Look at Jim. He's out here golfing and shit posting, probably not even trading that much. All right, guys. Any last minute things we want to go over? Otherwise, we're gonna close it out here. Thank you everybody for showing up. I appreciate you guys. Hope we've gleaned some insight. Hopefully I said something that was valuable in some way, shape, or form to you guys. Yeah, I do want to stream more. Sorry guys, I just this was just not the month for me for streaming. Had a lot of stuff going on, trying to be busy with the Paragon and whatnot. If you trade exchange of the day, could you just automate entries and exits? No way, my guy. No way. It's really hard. Most of my decision making is discretionary because it's based off of watching people's making stupid positions. The example for why that won't work is that you don't know where the extreme of the day is actually going to be. Just because the extreme of the day is here doesn't mean that it's going to remain there. You might push for way further than it before momentum actually dies and you revert. And the core argument what I would make is, since I'm a primarily order flow trader, it's all discretion at the end of the day about what's good and what's bad flow. Because today you might see some guy ape 5 mil into the low, open a fresh short into the low, and that might be enough to run him, where 5 mil was enough for us to rotate up 300 points. But another time, somebody might ape 5 mil into the low, and we just keep going down because sellers are in control, and there's so much volume going through the market right now that nobody cares about that 5 mil. But we could be on a low vol day, right? Low liquidity, low volume, low volatility, and that 5 mil was exactly what we were looking for to squeeze. So it's very discretionary and stuff. So you definitely cannot just automate that stuff. If that was the case, I would already be giga rich. I wouldn't be trading. I wouldn't be talking to you guys, right? I'd be a billionaire, and I'd be massively chilling right now if it was really easy. Automating trading is way harder than people think. I've really gone down the route and tried quite a bit with it. Put in a lot of time. Had moderate success here and there. Okay, thanks guys. Thank you. All the positivity, very much appreciate. I put 16 hours a day, 7 days a week in the bull run, and I feel like a war veteran with PTSD and mental illness. There you go. You know, it probably was worth it because of the time, the time that you were trading. That was worth it. But if you really did that to yourself, now's the time to focus on your health and all that stuff. You can always come back. The market's not going to go away. You can always come back and trade. All right, thanks everybody for stopping by and listening to me ramble. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'm not a billionaire. I'm poor. All right, and anybody that wants to expedite their trading learning curve, go ahead and check out the Paragon. Give us a shot for a month. I promise you won't be disappointed. I really work hard to put out good stuff for everybody. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Everyone have a good one. Cheers, guys.